The 30s Rock Podcast.
Welcome to the show. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over some conspiracy bullshit. Okay, whether it's real or fake, we don't fucking know. But we found a crazy ass like 10-hour video that like breaks down tons of fucking like conspiracy shit. We're gonna try to just look through a bunch of them and talk about it, see whether it's insane or not. Who knows?
Try to get different perspectives on what we understand it to be. You know.
Absolutely. It's just so easy because you're talking about like the hollow earth and then like all these
one thing can remind you of another and it just leads
right
into conversation.
It just leads right into it so easily.
You seen the gas prices? The gas prices are fucked up right now. It's a conspiracy, exactly. I tell you. Fucking Biden,
all
you
the
know.
diesel. It's talking about that for
fucking Biden.
The diesel fuel.
Biden, it's not my fault. It's not my fault at all. My bad. Bye. My bad. I ain't gonna do that to you, big dog. You the president. Good job. Because, you know.
What do you think?
That's not why. You call an old man old. He old.
Oh, man. I like that
segue. You like that segue? Huh?
Yeah. So me and Dan, we actually got to see the edge of the, you know, because we were in the Navy. We traveled around the world already, and we got to see the edge of the world.
Did you get to hang off for a minute?
Mm-hmm. That's what the actually that's where the term hang 10 comes from.
Actually, the gravity there would be extremely would be harder to control, so you'd probably fly off the edge. You couldn't actually angle your feet there.
I don't think that seems like a good idea.
That's the weirdest shit.
Else is downwind, then.
That's literally the weirdest shit ever.
All right, so let's get into this shit. This guy. I'm curious now.
Let's get in this shit. I'm with you.
Boy, am I excited. So there's been this image floating around for a while called the Iceberg conspiracy list. Actually throw it up now so you can look at it. As you can see, it is huge. What I'm going to do is, because this thing is huge, every one of these phrases can lead you down an entire rabbit hole of research and investigation. Some of them are well-known stuff like UFOs or Bigfoot, but as you get into some of these later ones, it gets creepy.
Mind you, people, this if you can eventually try, I'm sure we'll try to provide a link or something like that, but as far as it goes, when he's saying tiers, it's 10 fucking tiers.
That is 10 categories. That is 10 levels where in one category you might have 15 different conspiracies in that one category. 10 levels deep is going to go.
Yeah, when he's saying the tip of the iceberg, yeah, I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. This is like the Marianas Trench, the way this looks. You know?
Some of these are awesome. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to do a quick run through of the tier 1.
Zombie apocalypse happens. It all depends on what kind of zombies.
Some of the ones we'll get into in later videos are absolutely crazy, like the City of Broken Candles or the Valley of Headless Men and things such as.
Drinking game for you guys too, if you guys want to play along. Every time you have to take a shot every time he says things such as.
The title and description for tier 1 is Crazy Head, and the description reads mainstream conspiracies and unsolved mysteries. Most of this stuff is well documented and known to a good portion of the Western citizens.
A lot of the major ones that you already know about: fake news, cryptozoology creatures, big pharma. We got Atlantis, Nostadamas, climate change or climate denial, chemtrails, vaccines, UFOs, Ouija boards, multiverse. Jesus, okay. All right. I honestly figured some of this was gonna be in like tier 10, so now I'm like, okay, what the fuck?
First up, we have Big Pharma. Most of you know about this. It's pretty much just a huge encompassing theory that pharmaceutical companies suppress vaccines and cures that are made in order to make money off of treatment.
That first was true.
Yeah, that's
like absolutely
it's true.
Like documentable.
Here's a good example. My ex-wife interviewed an optometrist office, and it was like this. It was like a leading end like office. They were doing like really like high-end stuff for eye surgery stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I guess this doctor had developed some sort of a lens or something along those lines, something corrective for the eyes. It would have like taken care of blindness basically, or something along. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had it patented and everything. Yeah. And a big company came along and bought it and shelved it.
I can believe it.
There's more money in the treatment than there is the cure.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
It makes sense. It's a big money wheel.
Yeah. You can.
I have real concerns when people like Bill Gates start talking about medical shit. Like, show me your degree and what qualifications you have. Until then, keep to your fucking processing speed and fucking update Windows 11 correctly. I'm in economics class right now, and they're talking about that, about how that's the guiding principle of the capital society is. They called it a hidden guiding hand that guides our economy. That where money can be made, it will be made, and that's the whole premise of the capitalist society. And it's sickening that that's the actual core of it, and that's what we're taught.
So,
And that's the thing about the conspiracy theories that's the problem anyway, is conspiracy in itself means that these are crazy, outlandish things, and these are, I mean, so far
plausible.
completely plausible.
Mhm.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see why any of this couldn't be
On
plausible.
the first one.
I know.
Yeah, right. We're only we've only gotten through the first one. That was Big Pharma.
Fucking, it's like
touching
what?
now to Atlantis.
Conspiracy, like
Right.
conspiracy. Let's just stop
See
right
where we
there.
go here.
Atlantis. Original records of Atlantis date back to Greek times, I believe, between Sparta and Athens, of a continent located somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. And since they couldn't have got to North America, that would require there to be something in between that has since disappeared or sank.
So we talked about it earlier about the ever-changing, shifting continents, and about how Pangea was the 6th supercontinent ever, not the first. So I mean, it just goes to show that that could have been an island country or something like that got destroyed in the process of the continents floating away.
Nostradamus was an old philosopher who came up with several of the constellations and discovering the night sky, and it is believed that several of his predictions came true later, such as World War II and the Great London Fire. He said that there would be bad things happening in London, and then a bad thing happened in London, so yeah.
Sure, he's a
Nostradamus.
fortune cookie.
Nostradamus used to say some broad ass, logical ass shit. Like he was the most logical at that time, and he wrote that shit down. It makes sense.
I'm a Nostradamus then too, because I've called shit.
He was a fortune cookie, man.
The Mandela effect. Most of you are probably familiar with this, but it essentially says that there are parallel universes that cross over with each other in minor ways that we're not aware of. For example, those who remember the Bernstein Bears from their childhood may be surprised to know that it's actually the Bernstein Bears, and that several discrepancies like that exist. Like the Monopoly Man has no monocle, and yada yada yada.
But I would wager that both of those, right, the monocle, or not even monocle, the Monopoly Man, right, the one we remember, and also the Mr. Peanut Man, I would wager those motifs came around the same amount of time. I would say within 4 years of each other.
Yep, I think yeah.
Because
I think that's very plausible. I think that's the biggest problem right there is our brains are faulty. Like we shouldn't rely on our shit. Like I'm sorry, my brain's not good for much. Like I can do some things.
Next is Malaysian Flight 370, which disappeared somewhere over the Indian Ocean. The conspiracy states that there is a U.S. military base there, and more than likely the plane was either hijacked and flying towards it, or flew too close to it, to which the U.S. military shot it down and covered up all evidence of it.
It was the aliens. The aliens did it.
The GMO conspiracy regards GMOs that are in several foods, from fast food and markets and things such as, which are used in this conspiracy to cause food shortages and hunger in people. So essentially the whole get the customer addicted idea.
Putting chemicals in it, making the frogs gay.
Oh gosh, it's something that was given a name from how people splice seeds with other seeds and fruit with other fruit. Right? It's an old fucking practice, but there are GMOs out there that are harmful, and that shit is real, like that part. But as far as what he's talking about, like of some big GMO corporation that is doing this for the purpose of reducing human population, I'm like, no.
Orbs is rather vague. From what I figured out, it's referring to the orbs that are seen in photographs when taken in the sunlight.
Paranormal.
Oh my gosh.
So dust, particles, things such as. But the conspiracy says that it is a paranormal or supernatural occurrence. So yeah.
There are
You know the ones I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about that.
It's all a matter of paying attention to movement and what happens. Some don't move as far as what dust particles should. There's no airflow, stuff like that should cause something to, wisp in a way that it should. That's when it usually is a question of concern. But obviously there's bugs, things of that sort. There's a lot that goes into it. I've captured one that basically traveled over a fucking a pond. You know what I mean, or like a small lake.
Hey man,
It progressively get closer. No, I'm 100. Yeah, I don't believe that some of that's conspiracy. I think some pictures are absolutely just dust particles and people overlooking it. But yes, orbs I do believe are real and do appear at times. To rationalize it in a really quick, brief way, as far as it goes, I mean, the way I try to break it down is your soul, your energy is just energy. That energy doesn't just fucking fade out when you die. I think it, disperses. It leaves your body and goes elsewhere. Where it goes, that's subjective. I don't want to go into that. But as far as it goes, there's been video of seeing people passing away, or even animals. There's one in particular I watched, sad as fuck, but mouse dies basically on the trap after I don't know, maybe a few seconds or so after the mouse dies. You see a little energy, like an orb, basically just float out of its body.
I do remember something of a study being done that says that when a person dies, there's a certain weight that leaves their body that we don't it's just a weight change. So they don't know what it is.
New World Order, for those that aren't familiar, in the book of Revelations in the Bible, it details that there will be a one world government or one world order in the end times. But at this tier, it's basically just referring to the idea that all governments want to come together to make one government.
I mean, one world government makes okay. Don't get mad at me for saying this. One world government kind of makes sense. I'm sorry.
It's one of them.
By makes sense. Think about it like this right here, right?
Why does that?
No.
Why does that make
Just the reason why okay.
Next is the Nibiru Cataclysm. Nibiru is a planet, or also known as Planet X. The Bilderberg meanings. Transhumanism is more of a philosophy than a theory, really. BEK, or Black-Eyed Kids. Next is Antarctica, which there is a slew of Antarctic conspiracy theories.
On that Antarctica shit, though, don't you find it kind of odd that there's the treaty in place to not? I mean, I get it, it's cold, you could die, right? But like the treaty to not even like go and dig for resources and stuff like that. It could be possibly sitting on some of the biggest deposits of like oil and minerals that we have anywhere on the planet, and we just have these treaties in place that no one can go out there and explore. Isn't that a bit odd?
I don't think so. I think to preserve at least one part of the world makes sense, to keep people out of it, to leave it to study and to understand how things have developed and how things because typically when we mine for resources, we do pollute in some way, shape, or form. I mean, whether it be runoff or water pollution or...
I'm so back and forth on it with that argument, you know what I mean? Because I do agree with you 100%. At the same time, it does question, like, why is there so much limited,
So I understand that aspect of it too. But I mean, we should be like our natural resources, like for fuel and stuff like that. We should really be plant a couple of fields, like football fields worth of solar panels or something like that, and power a couple of cities. Like, do some good shit. My brother smelled some water they found in a lake that hadn't been touched by humans at all, and was saying that the water in there was so molecularly different from our current water that it was technically classified as something else.
Next is the basement tapes. Next up, we've got Operation Northwoods. This is a rather well-documented case. The PSYOPs, this is also well-documented. The Vela incident is an event occurred off the coast of South Africa in 1979.
Oh, real quick about the nuke thing. I think it's terrible how they did all this testing in Nevada, and then all that downwind radiation, and all those people getting sick and cancer and shit like that across all those states. Like, I didn't even think about all of the downwind shit from there.
Well, I mean, there's a fucking John Wayne movie that they shot, like, testing sites, and like almost everybody on that film like ended up with like cancer and died.
Damn, that's crazy.
Including John Wayne.
Next we have giants. While this one seems vague, later tiers get into it more specifically.
The Nephilim.
I mean, giants is a thing. Like that is absolutely a thing. But I'm sure he's gonna hit the ones I'm talking about.
But essentially, in the Old Testament of the Bible, there are several references to giants happening. And however, this conspiracy, as we get into it later, applies to the deep state and cover-ups and things such as. But this is a good mention that asterisk mark, so to speak. We'll get to it later. Padma McCord is an interesting one. The Elisa Lamb incident.
That one's just weird. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. This one is fucking odd. This one
is very creepy.
Really weird.
By the way, that website shit, she can set up a bot to do that.
That's what I was thinking. It was like, could be some automated script type of thing you could set up just to like create and just
Oh yeah, look,
spam the fucking.
It's a
shit.
thing.
She was a college student, I believe, at the Hotel Cecile in California, who for some reason, it's seen in security camera videos, runs onto an elevator, freaking out, keeps jerking around thinking something's following her, runs to her room, and is never seen alive again until she's found 3 days later in the water tank of the hotel.
And she was like,
Yeah, I suggest you look
while
at
she's
that.
in the
You
her
haven't?
while she's sitting in the elevator and she's like looking around the corner. There's a lot of question of something being something paranormal or almost like something demonic killed.
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like this one right here was more so.
Where's Constantine when you need him?
Terra Calico picture. This one's just sad. It's just sad. The Mad Gasser of Mattoon. I have never heard of this one before. Everyone who it happened to, which was dozens of cases, claimed that it was an individual that ran up to them and attacked them with invisible gas. So, yeah, have fun with that one. COINTELPRO. Like Operation Northwoods, this one's pretty well documented and known at this point.
Edward Snowden. That's about it.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense then. Yeah, with the whole NSA shit.
Mao-Yale connection. This one pretty much just says that the old communist emperor of China, Mao Zedong, was in secret connections with Yale University in ways to indoctrinate students and receive funding from them and vice versa.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's documented proof of professors at Yale getting paid from China. So there's that.
That was important. If Rashina was here, she'd lose her mind.
The I-70 killer. This is referring in the spring of 1992, there was a series of 6 murders of gas station clerks on the I-70 interstate, and no one was ever caught, but some sketches were given. From everything I've found, this is simply just a serial killer string that went unsolved. The Majestic 12 is a reference to a board member of 12 people put together by Harry Truman in 1947 to recover all alien spacecraft information and things such as
Space Force.
Yeah, sure.
Red Squads are, again, a pretty well documented government thing that during the whole Red Scare of the 50s and 60s, there were groups of U.S. police officers whose sole purpose was to hunt down communist sympathizers and arrest them for whatever. The Secret was really hard to find information on because it's such a vague title.
It's a secret. Shut the fuck up.
Don't talk about it. What
It's
you
the
doing?
secret. God damn
What
it.
are you doing?
But given its italics, I think it's referring to a book that essentially is a self-help book that says, thinking certain thoughts deliberately will change the course of your life.
I mean, that boils into just manifestation.
Manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Your thoughts manifest your reality. I mean, that can't be that big of a secret. Everyone sounds like they know this.
We're still in tier 1, so whatever. Acupuncture is an interesting one. This relates back to the big pharma I mentioned at the beginning. The Max Headroom incident is something that happened in 1987 in Chicago, when 2 broadcast stations suddenly cut out and cut to a video of a man wearing a Max Headroom costume. And it's pretty much become a whole Reddit thread trying to figure out who this person was, what happened, and name them.
That's, I think, the end of, this is the end of tier 1. I think it goes into tier 2 after this.
From everything I could find, it was just 2 guys missing in the media. And then for the last one I'm going to cover in tier 1, we have the UN agenda. This is pretty much just relates to Agenda 21 and other conspiracies, which I'll talk about more in later tiers, but the idea that the UN is trying to build itself towards a new world order. That is the end of tier 1. Like I said, there are 10 tiers, and they just get crazier from here.
I don't know how he found anything about the secret. I didn't even, how do you even...
Was that the secret as in like the secret, the DVD?
Some of these that are listed, I'm like, I wouldn't really put those on the list, to be honest. Some are just kind of like so just by the way bullshit.
Yeah.